What's up YouTube, Mike here with another video, and today I wanted to do my review of the Microsoft Surface Laptop 3. So let's get into it. Alright, so I know this laptop has been out for quite a while now. Like I said, this is the third generation. I know it's been at least 6 months since this has come out, so there's literally hundreds of videos about this device, but I've literally been eyeballing the Surface Laptop since the Surface Laptop 1. I really like the form factor, just the fit and finish, and I've just been wanting to pull the trigger, but with the first gen, second gen, I kind of held back because it was just a dual core CPU and I just couldn't justify that for what the cost was. But now with the Surface Laptop 3, you can get a quad core, and they also added a USB-C port. So essentially most of my gripes were fixed with the Surface Laptop 3. And I've really been eyeballing this particular color, the cobalt color, since the second gen. And this, or I would say maybe the burgundy color, which they stopped making, were my favorite colors. But I definitely like this cobalt. I think it looks good. So no complaints with that. But the reason I went ahead and finally pulled the trigger on this is that it's been on sale recently, up to $400 off. So now is definitely the time to buy if you want to get this. So this model that I have here is the i5 with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. And on Microsoft, I got it for $949. Now, on Amazon, it'll fluctuate $50 to $100. And depending on which configuration you get is how much money you can save. But essentially, this model is normally about $1,300, so it's like $1,299. So it's basically $350 off, which if you compare that, especially to like say a MacBook Air or the base model MacBook Pro, this is a steal. So less than $1,000, you're getting a quad core i7 with the 10th generation. So performance is going to be way, way better than say the MacBook Air, which is still just a dual core, and this has also got the Intel Iris Plus graphics. So real quick, just let me go over the build quality of this and the ports that it's got. But again, this is an aluminum build, as you can see. It's got a USB Type A, a USB Type C, which is not Thunderbolt, but you can still do video and everything with this, so it's still a great port. You just can't hook an external GPU. It does have a headphone jack, and then on the other side, all you have is the Surface Connect port, which I've done some videos on the Microsoft Surface dock. I highly recommend it. It's a great accessory for this or any Surface. So to me, the Surface Connect port is still pretty versatile. I mean, it does a lot. It's also magnetic, so it's kind of like the old MagSafe. So if someone was to walk by, hit your cord, it would theoretically unplug and your laptop would not be on the floor. But I can't say enough about the build quality of this thing. I mean, I love the Alcantara. A lot of people don't like it. They say that, hey, this is going to stain, it's going to be dirty. But if you're the type of person that likes to eat Cheetos while you're on your computer, then yeah, it's going to stain. But if you're just, you take care of your stuff, you wash your hands, which you should be doing right now anyways, because of the pandemic, then you're not going to have any issues with this. The Alcantara fabric cleans very easily. You just need a damp rag. You just put it in some warm water, and generally the stuff will come off, because I've owned Surface devices with Alcantara for years now, and I've not had any issues with it staining, or if I got something on it, not being able to get it to come off. So like I said, this laptop has been out for over 6 months now, so I'm not going to go too in-depth into the specs because there's literally hundreds of videos out there if you want to get the exact specifics. But like I said, it's a quad-core i7. This one has 8 gigs of RAM, and it is DDR4 RAM, so it's fast RAM. It's got an SSD, which is fast. With this laptop and the now Surface Pro X, you can actually get access to that SSD, take it out. I don't necessarily recommend it, but you can remove it pretty easily if you can find one, because it's a very obscure size, and upgrade it yourself. Obviously, Microsoft doesn't recommend that. They recommend you go to them, but it is upgradable. However, the RAM is not, because it's soldered on. Now, like I mentioned, there's multiple configurations of this. There's multiple colors. This, again, is the i5, so that's what I'm going to focus on. So there's lots of videos on the i7, but for the cost, the performance gain from the i7 to the i5 is fairly negligible. because they both have Intel Iris Plus graphics, which perform very well. So you will be able to do some light gaming on this. However, this is not a gaming laptop. If you buy it as such, then you're going to be disappointed. So it's not a gaming laptop, but you can do some casual gaming. I went ahead and installed Gears of War 4 on it just to run the benchmark, and it was showing about 25-ish frames per second. But within the game, when you play it, if you set everything to low, you can definitely get 30-ish. So it's definitely playable. So especially on older tiles. So if you've got like Skyrim or something like that, it's going to play just fine. You're just going to have to know that you're going to have to turn your settings down to low or medium, depending on how old the game is. But performance on this is excellent, especially for an i5. So that's why I did go with an i5. Initially, I had an i7 model, and I just, for the price, I wasn't really seeing a huge performance gain. So I returned that one and got the i5, and I'm glad I did because it saved me a pretty good chunk of change. Unfortunately, you're only getting 8 gigabytes of RAM with the i5. It would be nice if they offered a i5 with 16 gigabytes of RAM, but so far, knock on wood, the RAM has been sufficient. Now, as far as the camera goes on this is obviously got the front-facing camera. It'll do 720p video. To me, it looks pretty darn good. And it also has, of course, the Windows Hello feature, which is my absolute favorite way to unlock any device. I mean, it is so ridiculously quick. I mean, I shut it, you can't see it, but I open it, it's unlocked. I mean, it's that fast. It's pretty impressive. So that is my favorite thing about Surface devices. But one thing I don't quite understand is if you get the Surface Pro 6 or 7 or Surface Pro X, the front-facing camera on that is actually 1080p. It's a really, really crisp camera. I actually shot a couple live streams with that, and folks are like, which camera are you using? So I don't know why on the Surface laptop they opted to downgrade that a little bit. I don't know if it's cost savings or what, but I don't quite get it. But I don't use a webcam really that often anyway, so it's not a big deal to me. I just want the Windows Hello, but for whatever reason, the front-facing camera is way better on the Surface Pro models. Don't know. And also, this is a touchscreen, so you can actually use the Surface Pen on this as well. But to me, that seems kind of ridiculous, just because you're going to be at a very awkward angle. It's just not going to be a good experience. But if you really wanted to, you could use the Surface Pen, say if you got to sign a document. But the touchscreen's there, works well, as it should, because it's a Surface device. And finally, I forgot to mention that this is Bluetooth 5.0, so it's the latest Bluetooth, and it is Wi-Fi 6, so you can definitely get some pretty quick Wi-Fi speeds if your router supports Wi-Fi 6. And one odd thing is if you opt for the 15-inch model, it's only Wi-Fi 5. I don't know why. Makes no sense to me, but it is what it is. Now, as I mentioned, this comes in 3 colors. You can get black, they call it sandstone, which kind of looks like pink to me. Well, 4 colors, I guess. Then you get the regular kind of silver, and then you get the cobalt. But the silver and cobalt are the only ones that come with the Alcantara now, which I would have maybe got the black color, but it doesn't include Alcantara anymore on the deck, which I don't know why, because that black Alcantara would be the one that's most likely to hide any kind of blemishes. So, well, like I mentioned, this thing is got excellent performance. I've been extremely happy with it. I mean, typing on this is great. The trackpad is glass, so it's very smooth, very usable. To me, the typing experience has been the best that I've experienced on a Windows laptop. And I got to say, the trackpad to me feels just as good as one of the ones on the Mac. It's not quite as big as the ones on the Mac, but it's excellent. As far as the Windows side of the house, I don't think you're going to find a better trackpad than with this. Of course, it's got the Windows Precision driver, so it works excellent. No complaints with that. Really, the only complaint I have about this laptop is the screen. It's an excellent display. I like the 3:2 aspect ratio, but for whatever reason, Microsoft doesn't put the kind of anti-glare coating on their screens. So in a brightly lit room or outside, it's very annoying how reflective this is. So I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but I put a matte screen protector on here, which makes a huge difference. So right now, of course, that light's still bright, but before you would be able to see the actual reflection of that light. But it's so much better with this screen protector. I'll post a link in the description below. I could literally only find one screen protector for this on Amazon, and it's okay. It's just it didn't include a lot of stuff in the box as far as to get the dust out. So, but it's there. But I recommend that you get a matte screen protector if you plan on using this outdoors a lot or in a brightly lit room, or else you're going to constantly have to be doing this to find the right angle where that light is not reflecting back. But overall, like I said, excellent laptop. I mean, now is the time to buy just because of the sale. You can save literally $400 on this, which makes this extremely compelling. I mean, I know it's been out for 6 months now, so obviously in about 6 more months, they're probably going to announce the Surface Laptop 4. But right now, this is what we got. Now, technology is always going to get better. There's always going to be the latest and greatest. So I say if it's on sale, you need it, why not get it now? Because, yes, you can always wait. There's always going to be something better. But for the price, I definitely think this is a buy now. So with that, if you guys have any questions on this laptop, make sure you shoot it in the comments below. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed, please go and do so. Thanks.